Page 81, Pharaoh pursues. Chapter 14. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying speak to the children of Israel, that they turn back and encamp by the inlet of Caritha, or that is, dry or at low tide, between Migdol and the sea, in front of Baal Zephon. Opposite it you shall encamp by the sea. 3. For Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they are strangers in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. And the Lord said to Moses, I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them, and I will triumph over Pharaoh and over all his army. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord. And they did so. 5. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people had gone away, and Pharaoh, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants changed against the people, and they said, what have we done? We have let Israel go from serving us. 6. And he made ready his chariots and took his people with him. 7. He took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt, of the Egyptians, and the warriors over every one of them. 8. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel had gone out victoriously. 9. And the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea of Caritha before Baal Zephon. 10. When Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes and saw the Egyptians marching after them, and they were terribly afraid. And the children of Israel prayed before the Lord. 11. And they said to Moses, is it because there is no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you dealt thus with us and brought us out of Egypt? 12. Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. 13. Moses said to the people, fear not, wait, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will perform for you today. For the Egyptians who you have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. 14. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. 15. The Lord said to Moses, why do you pray before me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. 16. As for you, lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the sea. 7. And behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they shall follow, and I will triumph. 82. Pharaoh's army drowned. Okay. And I will triumph over Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. 18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have been triumphant over Pharaoh, over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. 19. And the angel of God, who went before the camp of Israel, moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. 20. And it came between the army of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was cloudy and dark all night. But it gave light all night to the children of Israel, so that they could not draw near one to another all the night. 21. And Moses lifted up his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. 22. And the children of Israel went in the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were like a wall to them, on the right hand and on the left. 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went into the sea after them, all the Pharaoh's horses, his chariots and his horsemen. 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord appeared to the Egyptian army in a pillar of fire and of cloud, and threw the Egyptian army into confusion. 25. Thus clogging their chariot wheels, that they drew heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from before the house of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against Egypt. 26. And the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and upon their horsemen. 27. And Moses lifted up his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its place when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. 28. And the waters were returned, and covered the chariots, and the horsemen, and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not a single one of them. 29. But the children of Israel walked through the sea as if they were walking on dry land, and the waters were like a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. 30. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead upon the seashore. 31. And Israel saw the great work which the Lord did against the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Chapter 15. Then Moses and the children of Israel sang this song to the Lord, sang this song to the Lord, saying, I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. 2. He is mighty and glorious, the Lord Jehovah, who became our Savior. He is our God, and we will praise him, our Father's God, and we will exalt him. 3. The Lord is a mighty warrior. The Lord is his name. 4. Pharaoh's chariots and his host he cast into the sea. His valiant men also he drowned in the Red Sea. 5. The depths have covered them. They sank to the bottom like stones. 6. Thy right hand, O Lord, has become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, has defeated thy enemies. 7. And in the greatness of thy might thou hast overthrown them that hate thee. Thou sentest my wrath, and consumed them like stubble. 8. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters piled up, and the flood stood up as if they were in sheepskins. The waves gathered in heaps in the heart of the sea. 9. The enemy said, I will pursue them, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My soul will devour them, I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. 10. Thou didst blow with thy wind. 83. Song of Moses and Miriam. The sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. 11. Who is like unto thee, O Lord? Who is like unto thee, glorious in his holiness, revered and praised, doing wonders? 12. Thou didst lift up thy right hand, and the earth swallowed them. 13. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth this people, whom thou hast saved. Thou hast guided them in thy strength to thy holy habitation. 14. The people heard and they trembled. Fear took hold on the inhabitants of Philistia. 15. Then the princes of Edom were afraid. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, seized them. All the inhabitants of Canaan were heartbroken. 16. Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of thine arm. They shall sink like stones, till thy people, O Lord, pass over, till this people whom thou hast saved pass over. 17. Thou shalt bring them in, and plant them on the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in, even thy sanctuary, O Lord. Establish it by thy hands. 18. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. 19. For the horses of Pharaoh, with his chariots and his horsemen, went through the sea, and the Lord brought back the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel walked on the dry land in the midst of the sea, 20. Then Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with tambourines and with timbrels. 21. And Miriam answered them, Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. 23. And they came to Morath, or bitter. They could not drink the waters of Morath, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of the place is called Morath. 24. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? 25. And Moses prayed before the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. And when he cast it into the water became sweet. The Lord taught him laws and ordinances, and there he tested him. 26. And said to him, If you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, and will do what is right in his sight, and will obey his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will bring none of these plagues upon you, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord your healer. 27. And they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the water. Chapter 16. And they journeyed from Elim, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departure from the land of Egypt. 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. 3. And the children of Israel said to them, Would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by pots of meat, and when we did eat bread to the full. For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to destroy the whole congregation, the whole assembly of Israel, with hunger. 4. And the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and these people shall go out and gather sufficient food day by day, for I will prove them whether they keep my laws or not. 5. And it shall come to pass on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and that shall be twice as they gather daily. 6. Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, page 84, manna in the wilderness. At evening, then you shall know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. 7. And in the morning, then you shall see the glory of the Lord, for your murmuring has been heard before the Lord. But as for us, what are we that you should murmur against us? 8. And Moses said, When the Lord shall give you in the evening meat to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, then the Lord has heard your murmuring, which you murmured against him. But as for us, what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. 9. And Moses said to Aaron, Say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he has heard your murmurings. 10. And it came to pass, as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, they turned their faces toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. 11. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, 12. I've heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Say to them, At evening you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God. 13. And it came to pass, at evening, the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the camp. 14. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the faces of the wilderness there lay a thin round crust, like the hoar frost on the ground. 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, Manna ho, what is it? For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, This is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. 16. This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Each man shall take it for those in his tent. 17. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered, some more, some less. 18. And when they measured it with an omer, he that had gathered much had nothing over, and he that had gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. 19. And Moses said to them, Let no man leave of it till morning. Notwithstanding they listened not to Moses, but some of them left of it till morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was angry with them. 21. They gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating, and when the sun grew hot, it melted. 22. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one person, and all the elders of the congregation came and told Moses. 23. Moses said to them, This is what the Lord has said, Tomorrow is a day of holy rest, the Sabbath to the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, and cook what you will cook. And that which is left over, keep it cold for yourselves until the morning. 24. So they left over some of it till the morning, and Moses commanded them, and did not stink. It did not stink, neither was there any worm in it. 25. And Moses said to them, Eat it today, for today is the Sabbath to the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field. 26. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, it will be in it there shall be none. 27. And it came to pass that they went out, some of the people, on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. 28. And the Lord said to Moses, How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? 29. See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath, therefore he gives you on the 6th day bread for 2 days. Abide every man in his place, let no one go out of his house on the 7th day. 85. Moses strikes the rock. 30. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the children of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like honeycomb. 32. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Fill an omer to keep for your generations, that they may see the bread with which I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. 33. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it before the Lord, to be kept for your generations. 34. And the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up as a testimony to be kept. 35. And the children of Israel did eat manna for 40 years, until they came to an inhabited land. They did eat manna until they reached the border of the land of Canaan. 36. An omer is 1/10 of an ephah. Chapter 17. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the command of the Lord, and camped at Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. 2. Therefore the people quarreled with Moses and said to him, Give us that we may drink, give us water that we may drink. Moses said to him, Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you tempt the Lord? 3. And the people thirsted there for water. And they murmured against Moses and said to him, Why did you bring us out into Egypt? Why did you bring us out into Egypt? To kill us and our children and our cattle with us with thirst? 4. And Moses prayed to the Lord, saying, What shall I do with this people? They were almost ready to stone me. 5. And the Lord said to Moses, Go on before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and your staff with which you smote the river, take it in your hand and go. 6. And behold, I will stand before you there on the flinty rock at Horeb, and you will strike the flinty rock, and there shall gush water out of it, and the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. 7. And he called the name of the place Nasa and Meribah, which is quarreling of the children of Israel, and because they tested the Lord, saying, Let us see if the Lord is among us or not. 8. Then came Amalek to fight with Israel at Rephidim. 9. And Moses said to Joshua, Choose for yourself men and go out, fight with Amalek tomorrow, and I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand. So 10. So Joshua did as Moses said to him, and he went to fight against Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. 11. And it came to pass, when Moses lifted up his hand, Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hands, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands became tired, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat upon it. And he sat upon it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. 13. And Joshua defeated Amalek with the edge of the sword. 14. When the Lord said to Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and place it before Joshua, for I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. 15. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nasi. 16. For he said, behold, as the Lord has sworn, he will fight with Amalek from generation to generation.